All right, everyone. So with this quarantine, we're deciding to try something a little bit different here. My name's Patrick Dempsey. I'm also with my co-host here, Chris Holland, and we decided to start a podcast. So this podcast is mainly going to be about the CABL baseball league that we're in. We play for the Senators, but in general, it's going to be about men's league baseball and what we do in that, the troubles we face, like arguing with umpires and getting ejected,
and trying to win games.
mainly the biggest problem we have. Yeah,
Getting guys to show up, trying to collect money, trying to order uniforms.
just a bunch of ideas that we can have with that. We're going to try and make it a good time. We're going to chill. We're going to hang out and go from there. So like I was saying before, the biggest thing is we're going to talk about the league that we're in, at least together, which is the Commonwealth Amateur Baseball League. We've played in it for 3-4 years.
Yeah, this will be our fourth year this year.
Our fourth
The
year.
league's been around for 6 years.
Originally, it was the Rhode Island. What was it?
No, the Royal Rooters Baseball League started in, I think, sometime in the mid-2000s. Somebody else would know better than us, though.
Yes. So we're relatively new to the league. We started the Southeast Senators. Chris mainly did 3 years ago, like he was saying, with a bunch of guys that we've played in another league with, kind of made a semi-all-star league. That's not
all-star is a loose term.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an all-star team for that league, but we're still not good.
The way I like to describe our team is incredibly mediocre and or slightly above average, which I think is a happy place to be. We have fun. We're competitive. We just don't play very late into the season.
Hopefully we sneak into the playoffs every year. We lose in the first round, and then we get to go play golf all fall and watch baseball. So
we're 3 for 3 on that.
And hey, we're going to be 4 for 4, Chris.
Hell yeah, that's why we voted for more teams in the playoffs.
That's right. So what we wanted to do to start was just give you a little intro of what we're expecting to do in these next few weeks. We're hoping to do either weekly or bi-weekly episodes, kind of recap what this episode will be, kind of recapping what's happened throughout the off season, what happened last year, and what to expect at the beginning of this year. After that, moving forward, we're really going to start going into the teams, what we are expecting from them, a little bit of a background of what they've done, and just where we kind of expect them to fall. We'll give a little breakdown of maybe what we think the finals matchup will be and playoff format and all that jazz. So, I mean, really starting off, anything jump out at you from last year that you really want to talk about, Chris, or should I just start diving into this?
Really upset that the Cubs are in our division. They're still in our division because it seems like the rest of us are playing for second at this point, but that's, it is what it is. You got to get better if you want to beat the good teams, and the more good players we bring into the league, the better it is for the league, even if it is all on one team. It's going to force the rest of us to play catch up and make our teams better. And then
and then they get to flex their weird Twitter muscles and send out the trophies.
Keep tweeting their trophies at us. But hey, they have fun. We have fun, and hopefully hopefully they look at it the same way we do. I'm just trying to have fun and interact on Twitter because I get bored at work and I want to tweet at people.
Well,
you do the same thing
anymore, so.
Oh no, I still get. Well, I'm just not at work. I guess I get bored while I'm doing work.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we started this.
Doing work.
So with last year, what ended up happening is the end of the season came down to the Rough Riders and the Cubs playing in the finals. Before all that started, long, hard-fought season by all the teams involved. I don't specifically have where everyone fell from last year because it fell off my computer and I'm not quite sure where it went.
Would you like me to tell you what happened in the South Division?
Sure would.
It was the Cubs in first, the Royals in second, the Mariners finished third. We finished fourth, the Senators.
As is tradition.
As is tradition. And we had a wild card game against the Dodgers, who made a pretty big late season push after not being good for most of the year. They won a bunch of games down the stretch, including sweeping a doubleheader against the Cubs with, 2 or 3 weeks left in the season to put themselves in a playoff position. And they ended up beating us in the playoffs, which was surprising. But, I mean, good for them. They had a pitcher that got hot and kind of carried them through.
Definitely did. They had a good guy throwing that day. But I really think we were out-coached in that game. The
Yeah, I
managing,
would say so.
the managing on the Senators team was not very well put together,
The
and
manager that was in place on opening day for both of those teams was no longer in place by that playoff game, or for that playoff game, I should say.
yeah, and I mean, I will take the bullet there. I I still stutter a lot when I talk about this because how bad that game made me feel, and making the last out, fouling out to first base to end the season isn't
Just
a
to
great
first
move
base.
either.
I
Huh?
was followed on Game Changer. I thought it was to right field.
No,
Somebody could have
yeah,
like foul ball to right field.
he actually robbed it. It was going over the fence, and it was going to be a game-winning home run, but he caught it, and it was a great play by
I
that.
knew it was a foul ball. I'm not that naive.
All right, moving on. Do you know what happened in the North?
The way I remember it, I think the Rough Riders were the number one team in the North, right? Or was it the Marlins?
I believe it was the Rough Riders too.
You know what?
I
We
could be
have the
wrong,
technology. We can check.
but I do remember the Giants coming into a World Series after we left,
Yeah, it was
playing
the
their
Marlins.
playing
The
game.
Marlins won the division. The Rough Riders came in third in the division.
Did they?
Marlins, Gators, Rough Riders, and then the Giants and Rockies played the play-in game, which another late season push from the Rockies to get into the playoffs, and then they snuck through and came in and beat the Giants to move on.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You just said that the Rough Riders came in first, and I had no idea, so I just agreed with you to make it sound like I was smart. Obviously, I was wrong, but
Oh, clearly
um,
same.
I do remember the Giants coming in after us into the dugout, and
Locker room.
hey,
What
man,
league do you think you're in?
it's should be hockey season for me, but
That's
I
fair.
mean, but they came into the dugout, and after seeing that performance, we stayed and watched for a little bit, and then heard the scores afterwards, hearing that they actually got bumped too, was pretty shocking as well.
Yeah. Those
Uh,
those teams that came in fifth and made the late season pushes to get into the playoffs, they got hot at the right time. They made their runs, and I think both of them took their first round series to 3 games too. They and both ended up losing to
the
the
Cubs.
Cubs and the Marlins, but they fought hard. It was actually very impressive to see the teams kind of stay competitive late in the season. Guys kept showing up, kept playing, and trying to win. And you see a lot of teams that are in that position just give up and pack it in for the year.
Yeah, and which kind of brings up the next part in the winter meetings when we had those votes on playoff format and everything like that. We are going to stick. We're sticking with 10 teams, correct?
Yeah, it's
It
10 teams.
it wasn't changed though.
The amount of teams hasn't changed. The way that they're determined for
Yeah.
playoff seeding has changed, just because we're going from a true North and South division to 3 different divisions of 5 teams.
Yeah, and I mean, we know that at the board, well, at the coaches meetings, that there was some pushback on it because there were teams voting on. I think there were 3 options: 8, 9, and 10.
Yep.
Ended up going with 10 with the majority vote, but there was pushback on it because so many teams are in the playoffs essentially. But
Yep.
with those 2 teams from last year winning a play-in game, pushing those top-seeded teams to 3 games in, and still being able to play baseball. I mean, that's that's a pretty good talking point for it, right?
Yeah, I think that the more teams that you have in the playoffs, the more engaged you keep teams later in the season. You avoid forfeits, you avoid uncompetitive games. You just kind of avoid a general lack of interest. I can see the reasoning for wanting. Hey, Oswald.
See my dog in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sitting in bed, he's chilling.
I can see the rationale for having less teams in the playoffs. It kind of looks bad to have a team that goes, wins 6 or 7 games, get into the playoffs, and might not look great to surrounding leagues. But I know, like, the Cranberry League lets I think all 8 teams in the league make the playoffs, and it's just 1 versus 8 and right on down the line. Whereas I
Yeah.
think some of the other leagues, like Park, Intercity, are a little more stringent with their playoffs. And quite honestly, the league that compares most to us is the MABL, and I couldn't even tell you what they do with their playoffs. I think it's either 6 or 8 teams for them. I think.
I know they do less, but I don't know the number either.
Yeah,
Um,
but they also only have 8 or 9 teams in their whole league. So
well, I mean, I did have this conversation at the coaches meeting with a lot of the other managers that were there when we were there. And yeah, I selfishly wanted to vote for 10 teams, knowing that we were
Yeah.
on that bubble and we wanted to play more baseball.
We have a very difficult division.
Exactly. So it's definitely going to be a fun year, an interesting year.
If we ever start.
Exactly. So when we do get started, as of right now, the new board of directors has said that we are trying to start on time. We do have contingency plans out there, whether we're pushed back a few weeks or a few months, or
as long as this stuff doesn't last until the end of July, we're going to have baseball this year. Whether it's a condensed format or if we play our full 22 game slate, I think we're going to have baseball this year.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any doubt either right now, especially with everyone thought we were going to go on a lockdown in these last few days, and nothing's happened officially yet. Maybe by the time we post this out, Dave comes out and says something, and I'll look like an idiot. But who knows? But we are looking forward to starting the 9th. What date?
April 19th.
19th.
For us. The league's supposed to kick off on the 16th, which isn't going to happen because Massachusetts ban on gatherings of 25 or more people lifts on the 17th, which the Black Sox and Cubs are scheduled to open their seasons that night in Weymouth at Libby. Yeah. So that is probably going to be the first game on the schedule if we are able to start on time. I don't think we're going to be able to start on time, but that's just a personal opinion. So.
And the idea is to push that game to the 17th is a Thursday, push it to the 18th, which is that Friday, right?
The 16th is Thursday, 17th is Friday. Okay, the 19th is that Sunday when the rest of the league opens up.
Okay, so push it to that Friday, play it.
Yeah, so we would have 2 games Friday night.
Yep. Okay, which is ideal. We have fingers crossed, but there are plans out there for if things change because they are going day by day, and we're going to figure this out. And
yeah, it's such a fluid situation. It's hard to tell right now, but as a member of the board of directors, I can tell you that we've got plans in place, and our goal is to play as many baseball games as possible this year. I think Dave's doing a great job of kind of steering the ship right now and keeping us on track. Dave being the league president, Dave Giarrusso, for those of you who might not know.
Yeah, so now that you mentioned that, it does change. Well, I know board of directors seats are for multiple
3 years. They're for 3 years apiece. The officers are voted on every year, so theoretically it could be you could be the president one year, you could be the secretary the next year, you could be an at-large member the next year.
Yeah, but that's all based up on to the board of the directors' decisions. But you do have a 3-year seat. We know Dave, like you were just saying, is now the acting president. This is his first year on the board, correct?
Correct.
Under him, we have Nick Bennett, VP. He is he was with the Braves. He's not technically playing with them anymore, right?
Yeah, when the league started, he was with the Lexington Titans, who are now defunct since I think 2016. I think we might have replaced them. And then Nick was with the Braves for a year after that. Now he's not affiliated with any team, but he is one of the founding members of the league. He's been around since the Royal Rooters days. Has been on the board of directors for it has to be his 6th year, I think, because it's the 6th year of the league, and he's been around the whole time. So he and Alex Samaras have been on the board the entire time. I think they're the only 2 remaining founding members of the league that are still on the board. Alex is an at-large member now. He was elected treasurer, but with some conflicts of interest with his new job, he has relinquished the the treasurer role to Matt Kelly of the Cubs.
Yeah, and it is Kelly's first year on the board too, along with the new secretary, right?
Yeah, that would be yours truly. I get to take fun notes during all the meetings and send out some emails, and it's pretty cool.
Hey, well, you've put a lot of work in, at least for our team. I know a lot of people haven't seen the behind-the-scenes part of it, but you definitely do care, and it's good to have you with representation on the board. And, Mike Terry is the last at-large member, but we don't have to talk about him too long.
He doesn't do much.
No, I'm just kidding. So Mike's been around for a while too, right?
He's been like around the league in men's baseball or amateur baseball in Massachusetts for probably about as long as we've been alive. Old man Terrio's in his early 40s, but he's
Go ahead.
I think he was a member of the Titans when the league started too, and then he's now played for the Gators and the Giants, and he's actually not even playing this year. He's recovering from rotator cuff or something to do with his shoulder. Maybe it's labrum surgery,
It was
but
tough throwing all those packages out when you were in the mail. But yeah,
mail
I mean,
carrier Mike.
he does have. I know he does have a Titans jersey, like you were saying, along with
He might
probably
have a jersey from
95
every
other
amateur
jerseys.
baseball league every amateur baseball team in Massachusetts at this point.
Exactly. And then he took a picture with the Rockies one, so I thought he was going to the Rockies this year.
I think he was trying to use that as leverage to re-sign with the Giants for a bigger contract.
He was just using it for the clout.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are our board members. Obviously, at all the managers' meetings, all the coaches and everything go as well. But those are the ones that are running. I know you came in and you took a abbreviated position, right?
Yeah, because Tim Antonellis stepped down with 1 year of eligibility or 1 year left on his term. So there were 3 new members elected this year. Dave was elected unanimously to the board, and Matt Kelly and I think we tied in the vote, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
you did. You would
But
know if you
basically,
were
we
there,
just
but
what was that?
you would know if you were there, but
That's true. Unfortunately, I was in Connecticut for work for a week, which was miserable, but we could talk about that another time. Matt Kelly and I split the vote, or not split the vote. We tied with however many votes it was. I don't think I ever got a number. And we just flipped a coin to see who got the 3-year seat, then who got the 1 year seat that was available. And I got the 1 year seat for now, and I'll probably rerun. I'll probably run for re-election again next year and go from there. But we'll see how this year goes first, because it's a hell of a first year to be, or it's a hell of a year for 3 newcomers to be on the board with the what we're dealing with right now with the COVID-19 virus going around.
and then
And
with the
I
end of
guess
go ahead.
even Mike Terrio, it's only his second year on the board, so we don't have a ton of experience here. It's Alex and Nick that are kind of providing guidance on how to navigate this from a board perspective.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone. I wouldn't say anything bad about anyone on the. Well, I would say stuff bad about anyone on the board, but I wouldn't say that none of them care. Um, everyone there wants the league to succeed, wants everything to go in a positive direction,
For
and
sure.
you can definitely see that by the way that they're trying to handle everything and what they're trying to do.
And I think as a league as a whole, we have a bunch of pride in the league that we have and the level of baseball that we put on, the level of fields
Yeah.
we're able to acquire. We're trying, I don't think it's just a board goal. I think it's a whole league goal to be one of the more successful, one of the more popular, one of the more competitive men's leagues in Massachusetts. We want to be in, for lack of a better term, a league of our own as far as the amateur
For
baseball
women?
product goes. What was that?
Because we're gonna play in skirts and things like
Correct.
that.
Go Peaches.
I mean, with some of the people on our team, there probably is some crying in baseball, but that's besides the point. Because I mean, last year, I know you were you were wanting to run for the board and everything like that. But we also almost folded. I don't know how many other people know that.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the league itself. I mean, we were going to go play for another team in the league.
It had everything to do with the people on our team.
Yes, it can be. Speaking as a manager and trying to run things behind the scenes, it can be very frustrating if.
It's fascinating.
It can be frustrating if people are not responsive, if they're not, if they don't give the same kind of effort back to the team that you have to put into running it. I mean, speaking frankly, I was getting frustrated with not being able to collect money last year. I was getting frustrated with struggling to get 9 guys to every game, worrying about trying to get guys playoff eligible. I mean, this year I've approached the offseason differently, building our roster bigger so that we don't run into the attendance issues. Started collecting money months ago, so that way we're in a better financial spot. And it's actually taken a lot of stress off of the beginning of the season and the money that we're going to need then and getting guys to show up, which is great. But you're right. I mean, up until I'd say probably mid to late June last year, I had every intention of folding the team this year. We were going to go play for somebody else. And in the league, I love playing in this league, but I was getting fed up with running a team. But we stuck it out. Things got better throughout the season. We had our core group of guys that were, what was that? Yeah, we started winning. You're right. You're right. But we had guys showing up to games more. Had people that we could rely on that made things easier.
Yeah. And maybe once we figure out more of these issues and the answers to them, we can talk about that in another episode, I guess, and go from there and hopefully give out some tips of what to do as long as we figure out how to do it first.
The Manager Chronicles.
Exactly.
How to deal with an unpassionate team.
Get new people. No, but so a lot of other things did change actually, to be honest, not really much did change in those winter meetings. We had a lot of votes, a lot of discussion on those votes, but everything really came back to the way that it was last year.
Yeah, it seems like for the most part, we're pretty happy with the way things have been going. I think the only reason we have to put things to vote is, hey, the MLB changed this rule. Do we want to adopt it or not? Because the way our rule book reads is we play by MLB rules unless otherwise stated in our rule book. So, just the other night we had a managers meeting and we had to vote on limits for roster size and movement. So unfortunately, we can't call guys up from our AAA team on a whim this year. But
what the hell?
The TWL will always be there as a feeder for us, I think.
And apparently the Rockland Cardinals, which we'll just never come around to because
that might be a story for another day. Go Plymouth Brewers.
There we go. So there were, like we were saying, were a lot of votes. They are going to go with a 10-team playoff, which is probably the most contested vote.
That had the most discussion. I think the most passion was behind that one.
Yeah, and I mean with reasonable rights and thoughts processes on it and everything. Like
Sure.
You do want to make it good baseball in the playoffs where you're limiting the number of teams in, so only the good teams get in. You don't have these outliers who can then bump someone out, but that also makes it exciting. Those outlying teams, the people on the bubble want more teams in, so there's more baseball.
Yep.
And everyone has a side to it. We understand both sides. It's just the way that the votes went. You know where we stand. We told you that. But the way that this playoffs are going to work are that the winners of each division are going to be seeded 1 through 3.
Yep.
Because we no longer have a north-south. We have a north, central, and a south with 15 teams, right?
5 teams in each.
Yep. So winners of each division are seeded 1 to 3. The second place people in each division are then 4 through 6 based on their record.
Yep.
And tiebreakers and all that stuff. And then everyone else from there, based on their record and tiebreakers, will be seeded 7 to 10.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. The 4 best records get in after the first and second place winners.
Exactly. So it's definitely opens it up. It's going to be different than what we had last year, which it was just a 2-sided bracket, right? We had North and South, and then
North and South. That's it.
In the middle, the Cubs and the Rough Riders played. The Cubs won. The Rough Riders got mad, went defunct, and joined the Giants.
I think that's probably not entirely false, but I think they ran into the same issues that we were running into early in the season, where it was just more work than it was worth to run a team for Dave and Mike. So they decided to go join another one.
Exactly, and Dave, he did express a little bit of that to us, but maybe in an upcoming episode we can get him on here, chat with him.
Get the league president.
Oh, second episode, get league pres on here. That'll be.
We're committing to second episode trying to get him. That is bold.
I'm starting strong. We want to skyrocket here. Take me to the moon.
We want 50 viewers.
We're gonna get all of our viewer wicked happy.
Shout out, Kyle.
Yeah, thanks. Maybe we'll order something from Squad Locker after this too. But moving on to the way that this year is going to fall, I know we talked about the coronavirus and everything, postponing things. But when things do get started and they do get going, we are running with a 15-team league. So we did lose. We lost
the Rough Riders, the Pirates, and the Yankees.
Yes.
The Rough Riders, as you said, went defunct, and a couple of their guys now play with the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
The Pirates decided they were too old for the CABL now and moved into the MABL's 28-plus division.
Up soon for us, too.
Won't be long now. We're eligible this year, you and I.
Hey, we'll find a team.
We could. We could go play at the Pirates if we really wanted to.
Hey, Jory's a good guy.
They play on Sundays. I don't know if that'll work, but that can be a discussion offline, I guess.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
And the Yankees just, I guess, had enough of the league. They forfeited their last 3 games last year, and there seems I'm not sure if they were not invited back or if they decided that they were leaving or some combination of both. But the Yankees are no longer a member of the CABL.
Yeah, I didn't hear the final verdict on that either. I know they're no longer in it. And we did have several discussions on that issue in the offseason too, where we know someone's I think Alex brought it up during the playoff format part of it, where they know someone's not going to be in the playoffs and they're just going to pack it in. It doesn't matter for them anymore. So now they're forfeiting games and everyone gets to play less baseball.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened there.
Yeah. And, I mean, it sucks because, I mean, the Pirates were good guys. All teams were competitive in the league, to some degree at least. And you never like to see people go, you want to grow the league. But we did get 4 brand new teams in this year.
Correct.
I'm not sure did all of them transfer from the Mabel?
No, none of them did. So
I thought at least one of them did.
We have 2 new teams up in Lowell that transferred from the Greater Lowell Baseball Association.
That's what it was. Okay.
I think they were respectively the Royals and Black Sox in that league, and they now have new names in our league. There's the Lowell Rebels. Who, I get them mixed up. Who manages who? I think that's Tristan's team, and the Mill City Mustangs are being managed by Mark Cebulski. We also have a new team up in Lowell. That's made up of some guys. Sorry.
So we're gonna. That's what I was trying to lead to, at least, because we do have, like you were saying, the Lowell Rebels and the Mill City Mustangs up in the North Division, along with what I think you were trying to get to was the Merrimack Valley Expos, right?
Correct.
Yes. So all 3 of those new teams are all up in the North, joining the newly stacked North Shore Giants. And our lone New Hampshire team, the Granite State Rockies, right?
Yep. That's correct.
So
led by reigning manager of the year, Mike Crimmins, might I add.
Exactly. I mean, I didn't think you were going to start throwing the salt that early.
Why would I be salty about manager of the year? We stunk.
I know we stunk. Weren't you in that vote?
No.
Oh, I thought you were for some reason. You're like, I should have got it.
Nope.
But
not that vote.
So Mike has done a great job. The only downside, I think, with that team would be that it's in New Hampshire. But people put us because we're in Plymouth.
They played in Methuen before. They're in Salem now. It's only a town over. It's not like it's that far away.
I'm just kidding. I'm trying to give them a hard time because no one wants to come to Plymouth. We get it. That's why we schedule in Plymouth, and that's why we do it.
Best home field advantage in the league. Nobody shows up.
Exactly. We hope all your players don't want to make the drive. Well, we hope 9 of your players want to make the drive, and they're not your top 9.
Maybe 8. Okay with 8.
Hey, I had a triple last year because they played with a left fielder and a center fielder, and I said, I'm going to hit the ball to right.
And he did.
And Giuseppe goes, yeah, man, hit it hard. I go, no, it's going to right. And that was the only triple of the season.
You had 2 triples, I think.
I must have blacked out on the other one. I don't remember. I ran out of oxygen rounding second and just passed out, but I still ran.
Stumbled into third base.
Exactly. So, I mean, I know we probably go north, central, south, but since we were just talking about us in the south playing out of Plymouth, we'll continue there. We also have 2 teams in Weymouth. We have the Weymouth Cubs. Yeah, they won the season last year. Great, whatever. And the Weymouth Black Sox.
Trophy, guys.
And the Weymouth Black Sox.
Who definitely did not win the league last year.
What's that?
Said who definitely did not win the league last year.
Yeah. They
Moving on.
They know baseball and the rules very well over there, though.
They sure do.
And we will get to that. But both playing at Libby, right?
No, the just for night games for the Cubs. They play their Sunday games at the Julia Road Field in North Weymouth.
Oh, that one at the end of the
in the weird little cul-de-sac, yeah. And the Black Sox are more nomadic. They try to get some fields in Weymouth, but I think they end up playing in Saugus a lot. They've got a good relationship with with Bob up there at World Series Park. It's Oswald in the background again.
Oh yeah, he's just chilling.
Tell him what's up.
He's trying to get comfy. Oh, there we go.
And he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he'll get there.
He's old,
Looks
man.
like
Do you have
he's wiping his ass on the bed now.
Yeah, right? All right, cool. He's good.
Moving on. We
yeah.
also have the Royals and the Mariners in our division. The Royals had a bit of a tumultuous offseason, but they lost quite a few of their key guys, but they've made some good pickups too, so they'll be ready to roll again this year.
So with the Royals, they're out Burke, right?
Yeah, Brian Burke's gone. Brian Williams is gone.
Is Perez back or no?
Yeah, Phil's back.
Okay. And Ahern was up in the air for a little bit too, wasn't he?
No, Ahern was always going to be in.
Oh.
As far as I know, from what I've been told.
Okay. I mean, which is great.
Yeah. And then the Mariners down in the Foxborough, Norfolk area, who we don't hear a lot from during the offseason, but they always put a strong team on the field. They're a good team to have in the division. They
do have some ball players. They're very good. They always have good pitching.
Yep.
They have the bats to back it up. I mean, Paul Everett, the stud behind the plate.
Yeah, they're just a very, very solid team. There's not a lot of holes.
They'll make some noise, if you know what I mean, out there in the South.
Not many people are going to know what you mean. Shout out Billy Hunt. Loves to chirp from the bench.
But I think a lot of these things that we're talking about we'll get into when we do these previews.
Yeah.
And then moving to the Central, another new team, Boston Braves. Or no, they just changed their name, right?
Yeah, the Braves have been around for a while. This is their second year being the Boston Braves, I believe. They'll play
before, correct?
Yeah, they're from Lexington before. They'll play at whatever fields the Boston Parks Department gives them. Last year, they're supposed to play at like 3 different places and got moved around. Well, the new team you're thinking of is the Watertown Brewers.
Yes.
I don't know if they come from another league or not, or if they're just a brand new team. I haven't been able to find much about what they did before.
Since this is a new team, sweet logo, by the way, that they have.
I haven't seen it. Is it good?
Well, at least I thought I saw one. I could literally be talking about the show. He's seeing an old retro logo and seeing that. But I do know the Mill City Mustangs have a top quality logo they have.
Oh, yeah, they sure do. I can't wait to see what their uniforms look like.
I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
But then rounding out the Central, the Newton Dodgers coming back. Another change in management there, right?
Yep. Yeah, that kind of changed mid-year last year. They were managed by Jeff Hall for a long time.
When we had our first doubleheader against them.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, Jeff has been managing that team since they were – I think they used to be the Red Sox when they were in the early in the MABL. They were in the CABL when it was the Royal Rooters League still. And they transferred over to the MABL because they didn't like the direction the league was going in. And now that the CABL has kind of established its roots and distanced itself from the Royal Rooters League and become a pretty well-respected league, they've made their way back. But, yeah, Jeff's out. I think it was just he probably didn't have the time to commit to it. And I forget who's taken over, but it's probably some combination of Rudy
Dan,
Hirsch
right?
Huh?
Wasn't it Dan?
Maybe. I think they're probably kind of leadership by committee over there. We had a couple of their guys on the meeting the other night that Dan Turner, that's his name. That's who we're talking about. I think it's probably some combination of Dan, Rudy, and Ivan.
Well, with it being a new team and me not being the head of our team that you are, I do kind of lean on you on those name things. So the fact that I just start throwing out things that I think are facts and just sticking with them until you tell me otherwise.
Hey, you got me there. It was good.
Hey, I got it right too, which is great. And then we also have the Metro Gators rounding out that Central Division.
What about the Marlins?
I thought we mentioned the Marlins. We also have the Marlins. So
probably one of the better teams in the league last year. Just leave them out.
Hey, I think I missed that series that we had against them, so maybe
we played them opening day. That's when you hit your triple against their 8 players.
That's right.
Because Kevin had to play for them that day, and he wasn't happy about it. I think they had a guy playing first base wearing work boots.
Thought about that, yeah. That was interesting.
That's league, baby.
Yeah, so we got the Marlins and the Gators out there to wrap it up. And I mean, just looking at the divisions as a whole, I know I'm most familiar with the South just because I don't sit when I was at work and stare at the website all day like you do to get familiar with everyone. So I just see what we play most of the time.
So.
What's that?
But it got me a promotion, so.
There you go. So I think the South is going to be very competitive.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the Cubs winning it last year and making some big key offseason changes. I mean, you think they got to be the favorite out there. Yeah. And then the Royals and Mariners and us are kind of all right there. The Black Sox have a good time, and it'll be a good year. Looking at the Central, I mean, we got one new team, a bunch of teams coming back that had strong seasons. I think the Central is going to be pretty competitive.
Yeah, the Marlins and the Gators are probably at the top of that division, but the Braves are always, they've always got the steady pitching to help guide them, and as long as their bats show up, they'll be all right.
We've never been able to hit the Braves.
No, we haven't. You're right. It doesn't matter who they throw. They've just got good pitching.
I don't want to give away hints or anything for our team, but our team can't hit speed or hit at all. And
speak for yourself, man.
When you have a good pitcher in this league, especially when you're only throwing once, twice a week, it changes things. They've always had that, which is great. And then the North, I mean, I know we lost the Rough Riders like we were talking about, and with the Giants absorbing Dave and Mike Hicks and Eric Baca and Nick Panzini, they're going to be tough to beat.
They're going to be a real good team. But from what I've heard, the Expos coming in, their roster looks – I mean, they're comprised of a lot of former I think it's Yawkey League guys. They're going to have a tough roster themselves. And I feel bad. I don't remember which team it is coming over from the Greater Lowell League, but one of these new teams that's come over from the GLBA was in –
It's LGBTQ.
Jesus Christ. Was in that league for 10 years, and they made the finals all 10 years that they were in that league, and I think won it 7 or 8 times. So
wow,
they're coming over with a pretty good pedigree too. The North is going to be another tough division. We're going to have some good baseball this year.
Once it starts. So I mean, with this being the first time we're trying this, hopefully this works out well. We continue, and we're definitely
actually able to get the audio.
Exactly, and we're definitely going to dive into this a little bit more. We're going to try and turn into the investigative reporters that we always dreamed of being when we were in kindergarten or whatever. And
I want to be the Dallas Braden of men's league baseball.
I mean, I'm getting there.
It's true. I've got the ginger beard though.
And definitely dive into these teams more, see what we can find out, and get it to you as soon as we can. And then with that, I mean, that rounds out all we have in the league this year. I know we did want to mention when we were talking about last year, the awards that we had.
Right.
We give out off-season awards. We did want to mention those award winners right at the top before this season gets started, so they get their time in the sun. I don't think anyone really wants the trophy back after seeing everything that the Cubs have done with it.
It's been debauchery over the offseason.
But they had a great time.
They've tweeted everything that they've done with their trophy to us, so we've seen it. If you want pictures, just let us know.
We've sure seen it. But Brian did a great job with that team this year. They have some tremendous ball players, and they've
got a lot of good guys too.
Yeah,
they're playful on Twitter, which we appreciate.
Yes, we do go back and forth with them, but we do at least hope it's all in good fun.
It is fun. I can tell you that much.
And go from there, because they deserved it. They had a heck of a year.
Yeah.
MVP of the last year, Micah Hearn on
it's his third time winning an MVP in this league. The kid just eats fastballs for breakfast, and I don't know. He's impossible to get out. That's all, and there's not much else to say about it. If he gets on base, he's going to end up on third.
Exactly. The kid's fast, plays for the Canton Royals. I'm sure he's led their team in hits and steals and everything for as long as he's been there. I know he's up pretty high even on the CABL career hit list.
On the all-time list. We can look it up. Keep going. I'll look it up.
But don't quote me on it. I know he's pretty high. I think Andrew's up top. Andrew Reed is
Andrew Ritchie.
Yeah, I almost said Reese because I don't know. He's up at the top, but Mike's catching up to him, and he's definitely going to give him a run for his money if he stays healthy and
Are
continues.
you talking just hits or are you talking average?
I know average he's up there. Yeah.
Mike's the all-time hits leader by quite a bit. He's got 115 career hits and
Yeah, I was talking average.
He's got a 467 career average, which is good for third all-time in the league.
Kid's a stud.
He's
There's nothing more you can say. He's a stud. I try and talk about good players without looking at stats, and I get made a fool of. But he's a very good player. He passes the Pat Dempsey eye test.
Yes, that's a very important test.
Exactly. Then we had moving on to Cy Young, Nick Panzini from the revamp Rough Riders, which is now the devamped Rough Riders.
Oh, got him.
Hey, this is why I'm here, right? So Panzini's now pitching for the Giants. We were saying before, stacked team. Now has the reigning Cy Young on it. I mean,
he just had an incredible year last year. He pitched against us, and he gave up maybe 3 hits on the day, and I'm pretty sure all of them were Adam Simpson for some reason.
Because he's big, dumb, and strong.
Correct. But Nick's got just a wicked 2-seamer it's tough on both lefties and righties.
And it's hard. He throws it fast.
He throws hard, which is, half the battle in this league. The other half's throwing the ball over the plate. So you put them all together, you're probably going to win a Cy Young.
Exactly.
But Nick did a great job last year, and the Giants got a good pickup there.
Speaking of Cy Young, maybe we can get our 2-time Cy Young on here at some point. Jason.
I'm sure he'll take it completely seriously and not laugh at us at all.
Exactly. I mean, we'll make sure he has to wear a hat because the glare from his forehead will distort the video or something, but maybe we can get him on here and go for that. And then Phil Perez, also on the Canton Royals with Micah Hearn, Rookie of the Year. Phil's a big dude.
He is
a ball hard.
He hit a home run against us down in Plymouth that I thought he popped up, and it got out by about 20 feet. He
missed it, too.
He did not get all of it, which is scary. But he's a good ball player. He's a good dude. He put up a good average last year, too. So all-around good ball player, and he's going to be a cornerstone of their lineup for a couple of years, assuming he continues to play.
So I used to work for Phil. He got a new job and moved on from since then. But I was talking to him at work one day, and he was like, yeah, man, I didn't do too great this game. He's like, I went 3 for 4. I only had 2 doubles. I was like, fuck you, dude. Come on. And this was back when I was 0 for the entire month of June, and I was so salty and didn't know what to do.
It was great. He didn't talk for the whole month. It was wonderful.
Yeah, you guys loved it, didn't you?
Sure did.
And now I'm on a podcast.
Hooray!
And then, like we mentioned earlier, Mike Crimmins, Manager of the Year with the Granite State Rockies.
It's the first time that somebody's won Manager of the Year without winning the championship. I think that just speaks to –
Is it?
Yeah, yep.
Oh.
I think it just speaks to the job that Mike did in keeping his guys motivated because they were not good for most of the year. They stayed together and they actually rattled off a couple of wins near the end of the season, I think. I'll go look at what their schedule looked like and how they did coming down the stretch, but they were able to keep playing hard and putting up good fights, and they won enough games to get into the playoffs, which you get in the playoffs and who knows what happens. But Mike did a great job of keeping his team together, keeping them motivated, and getting them into the playoffs. He had my vote for it for first place. I can tell you that much, but he
what else did you vote for, Chris?
I voted for everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, who else did you vote for specific awards here? Let's just talk MVP. What did you vote for there?
So Pat's trying to get it. I came in 4th in the MVP voting last year, and no, I did. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I should have won. There's no world in which I should have.
No, Mike definitely had it.
But I came in 4th, and that I am salty about because I had a good year. I'll leave it there.
I think I should have come up there at some point.
You do.
I'm a glue guy.
You're a clubhouse presence, Pat.
I just mean I'm sticky.
Oh, gross.
But that's really all I got. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Way to put me on the spot.
Yeah. Hey, I sent you this Google Doc. It's done.
Oh, good. You got through all your talking points.
Exactly.
No, I mean, like Pat said earlier, we're going to try and do this weekly. We're going to give you some division previews over the next couple of weeks where we'll highlight what we do know. We'll tell you what we don't know, which, spoiler alert,
it's going to be a lot.
Pretty much 60% of the North Division we don't know. We didn't play either the Rockies or the Giants last year, actually, so we haven't seen those teams in well over a year. So we don't know much about the North Division.
Last experience we had with the Giants too, right? Was with Zach sliding into second.
Yeah, he almost started a brawl because Terrio didn't like it.
I mean, I didn't like it, but he's stupid, so.
Yeah, true. I'd probably stop insulting our guys. They're the only ones that are going to watch this. But
yeah, but I mean, maybe, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. We'll be able to give you a pretty good look at the South Division, I think. We play those guys a lot.
Yeah, and both Zach and Adam, who I've both said something about in this, could definitely kick my ass.
Big time.
Nope, Jason could too.
Maybe. I don't know. It'd be fun to watch, I'll tell you that.
He's got a length. He'd probably catch me with a few jabs, and I just wouldn't be able to get in close, you know?
True. So, I mean, as you're hearing now, we're talking about our own team. We like to
I definitely like to talk about myself.
We like to bust chops on our team, to put it nicely, but you'll hear us make fun of our guys and get a little insight on the Senators from time to time because it's what we know, it's what we love, and I mean, these guys are the best thing about being in this league is we're playing with our best friends. Like
exactly.
We can go out there every Sunday and just hang with our buddies, play some baseball, go get a couple of beers, and just kind of do our thing. Which is the worst part about the season getting delayed now. We've been
I have to drink home by myself.
Exactly. That's why we're doing this. So we have somebody to drink with.
Exactly.
Since January, we've been hitting every Tuesday night. We've been going to the field on Sundays and taking fly balls and ground balls, and now we can't do that. And it just sucks not being able to be around the guys more so than anything else. You know, we want to win baseball games, but we came into this with some guys that we've known for a long time and are good friends with. We've picked up some guys along the way that we didn't know a thing about that have become some of our best friends. And
exactly,
that's the best part about being in this league and being on this team.
Yeah, and I mean, I would say that we can kind of. I know we've talked about ourselves a lot, but we do need to do at least some sort of preview on us really quickly at some point. I think this has gone long enough that we don't need to do it now. We can do it next time. So probably next episode we'll talk about probably us and the Cubs.
Start with the South Division.
Us and the Cubs, and see how long that takes, and maybe throw in a third.
Sure, sounds good to me.
Sounds good. So yeah, that's all we got. Hopefully you guys like this. Any comments or ideas or anything that you want us to discuss or go over, or I don't really take criticism well.
No,
so if you can kind of just hold that, that'd be great.
His biggest critic there.
So
don't edit that out.
I know. But anything you guys have, we'll definitely love to hear it. We're brand new to this. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you've listened to podcasts before. Any ideas that another group does that you think could help or anything like that would definitely be appreciated. Work with us. We'll work with you. We'll do the best we can. We're going to be trying to do a game of the week every week at least, where me and Chris go down to one of the games going on and live streaming on the cable thing with the cable Facebook with a broadcast of it. So we'll have that where hopefully you get to hear Chris talk more than me. He'll be the
if you tune into
guy.
Game 4 of the CABL Championship from last year, you hear my play-by-play brilliance, which usually includes sets and delivers.
And that's it.
Pretty dynamite call at the last out, if I do say so myself, though.
There we go. So go check that out, and we'll see you guys all next time. You want to say something to Poppy before we leave?
Sounds good. I don't know. Any questions, Poppy?
Cool.
No, he's good.
All right. See you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in.